Listen, the amount of shopping malls here in Chinese cities is absolutely preposterous. I could not believe my eyes when I first came here. We're about to go and check out a brand new one right in the heart of Shenzhen, super modern. Stick with us and we'll check it out. And just like that, bosh, here we are. Look at the state of that architecture, man. Brand new, modern, blue skies in the background. What more could you ask for, really? So this is in a place called Guiwan. So it's in the Nanshan district of Shenzhen. And this is one of the newly built shopping malls, and I must say it's pretty impressive at first sight. It just, as I just said before at the start of the video, it just blows my mind that they're still building massive shopping malls. Like, if you've been to a Chinese city, especially like the biggest ones, Shenzhen, Guangzhou, Beijing, Shanghai, literally you can walk for 5 minutes and you'll see multiple shopping malls. There's loads, and it makes you wonder, like, how are there this many people buying so much stuff? Like, you would think there's enough, but you got to remember the Chinese have an unbelievable spending power, you know? The rising middle class, the average person is getting a lot more wealthy, and you know, they've got money to spend. And they've got a bit of a society that likes to spend money and likes to kind of flaunt the money that they've got. So it sums up to the perfect economy, the perfect society for a functioning economy. And we're gonna have a little walk around here anyway and see what we can find. And I'll show you just what a shopping mall is like in China. Look at this, you got fancy whiskey bars, you got tea shops, plenty of tea shops everywhere you go. I actually found out recently that that's a southern Chinese thing as opposed to a northern Chinese thing, because I had a friend down from the north, he's from Beijing, and he came down and he had this fruit tea and he was amazed. He was like, oh, we don't get this kind of stuff in the north. I was quite surprised because I thought it was just a Chinese thing in general. But actually, these milk tea shops and these fruit tea shops are becoming a worldwide phenomenon. My grandparents, they called me the other week and they were like, Ollie, you got to tell me what this bubble tea is. They said they found a new bubble tea shop in their hometown and kids are queuing up for half an hour for one. They said, you're going to have to let me know, is it a Chinese thing? So they were kind of intrigued, they were making me laugh. But yeah, bubble tea. It's getting around the world. I'm not the biggest fan of bubble tea myself. I do have it occasionally. But yeah, it's good to know anyway. Here we go, we've got a view from the other side. I tell you what, the Chinese are very good at building infrastructure. And I'm pretty sure you will have already known that. But it's like, nothing phases them, man. They just build and they build and they build some more. Look at that. Now you might be wondering, right now you can't see too many people around, and it is the 31st of December. It's the last day of 2021. Last day of the year, and it's about 3:30 p.m. so most people are at work because it's a Friday, so there are not too many people around, which is kind of why I wanted to come, because if you come here on a Friday, if you come here on a Saturday or a Sunday, holy smokes, there are a lot of people. You know, if you want to go to a restaurant, you might have to queue like 1 or 2 hours to be able to get in, which is something I can't do. I don't really like queuing to eat. When I'm hungry, I want to eat. So I tend to come to these kinds of places in the weekdays. Right up, I'm gonna head inside, show you what's about. Better get masked up, because that's kind of the only time you need to mask up nowadays when you're in China, is when you're inside shopping malls, on the metro, that kind of thing. Anyway, right here, we've got one of my favorite brands, one of my favorite Chinese brands, which is DJI. We've got plenty of their stuff. We've got one of these, we've got one of these. We have a bit of everything in here. We've definitely got one of these. Actually, Dad has crashed a few of these. He's had about 3 or 4. And we've had one of these as well, the FPV drone. You haven't seen too much footage on the channel of this one though, because it's kind of hard to fly, and you get better footage out of that one, I think, anyway. So, but yeah, this is one of our favorite Chinese brands. We've got one of these gimbals as well. We ought to be sponsored by DJI, all the stuff we use. If you're watching, if anyone's got a DJI contact, let us know, and yeah, sort us out. Look at this, brand spanking new. There's one thing that kind of shocked me when I first came here as well. I wouldn't say shocked, but I was surprised to see how many foreign brands there are, especially like the bottom floors. You got Dyson here, you got Calvin Klein over this side, Champion, North Face, Timberland. It's like you've got all of them you could ever want. And when I first came here, I didn't really expect there to be such a foreign brand influence, you know. Whoa, look at this. That is funky, man. Jeez. Just on that note about foreign brands, I was just having a conversation with a friend yesterday, and they were telling me how, you know, still a lot of people in China, if they've got the money and the means to do so, they prefer to buy foreign branded stuff. And we kind of had a bit of a in-depth conversation about why we thought that was, because there are a lot of Chinese brands which are making like world-class stuff nowadays, and you know, just as good as any other foreign brands around the world. And we came to the conclusion that partially the reason may be is because, you know, 10 or 15 years ago, China didn't have as much regulation with, let's say, beauty products, for example. So there were some scandals of where like people were getting, you know, affected by their products, and it kind of allowed a lot of Chinese people to lose trust in Chinese brands, and they've kind of carried that forward into today. But now the regulation is much better, and a lot of these companies don't have the same problem with unsafe products, but it seems like, you know, people haven't forgotten that yet. I just thought that was a very interesting insight, actually. I'd love to know, you know, Chinese people watching, do you buy international products still all the time, or do you prefer nowadays to buy more Chinese products? It'd be interesting to get some discussion about that down in the comments. You know, back in England, I used to live in a small village, you know, near a small town. The closest city was Birmingham, and it was only the closest city that had any kind of shopping mall of this size. So I would have to drive like, I don't know, almost an hour to be able to get anywhere that was on this kind of scale. And obviously it's different because I do live in a city now, but I have a little electric bike, and I can literally take that electric bike 5 minutes in all different directions, and I'll get to 5 different shopping malls of this size. I mean, let me, you know, be clear, they're not all this modern. Some of them were built sort of 5-10 years ago, but I just find it bonkers. Look at these Teslas here, bright, gleaming red, blue here. Another blue one over here. There's 4 right next to each other. Oh, okay, some kind of advertising. I was thinking it was just a coincidence, but no, they got some Tesla advertising going on over here. That's another thing there's plenty of in China is foreign brand cars. You see absolutely loads of German cars, of Japanese cars, Mercedes, BMWs. Even like Lamborghinis and Ferraris, you see plenty of them. Look at these little toy ones here. Oh my God, I would have loved to have that when I was that age. This kid thinks he's the Donny Don. Whoa, no, he's crashed into the wheel. Whoa, he's off. Starbucks. I'm sure Starbucks must get the first word of when any new mall is opening, because no matter which mall it is, they have the prime position every single time. I reckon someone's leaking information to good old Starbucks and letting them get first dibs on where to go. But anyway, ladies and gents, that's a quick one. Just wanted to show you around one of the brand new shopping malls here in Shenzhen, China. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. Let me know how this compares to the malls where you live, and we will see you in the next one. For now, just before I forget, there's a video over here that you might like. It's the one YouTube recommends you next, so let's see if they're right and if you like it. We will see you in the next one. For now, take care.